Hello, everybody. So let's do this. So I had the pleasure of getting 4 hours to play Anno Pax Romana, and it was pretty crazy. It was a lot of fun. So I actually failed in my first play. So you can see that this is my second playthrough in the last hour and a half that I had, and I was able to actually get to the end of the demo based on everything I had learned. So we're setting up the basic building blocks right now. I'm getting some wood up. Just like Anno 1800, you can see the percentages are there. You definitely need, a couple of processing plants and a warehouse. Warehouses are, of course, very, very expensive. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Like I said, this is a pre-recording from the time I played. I have a video out that's like this hour and a half condensed into 20 minutes. So now you get to see quite everything. And let me know if there's any issues with the sound. I'm kind of trying a new setup here. This is the first time I've played a media source and then spoke over it in a live stream. But yeah, there are definitely going to be optimal ways to build things, but you need fish and you need porridge for your early game individuals. So yeah, you can see I'm kind of speed running through this. I had it all down. I'm like, all right, let's get these people fed. So we're gonna get ourselves a little oat farm right here. Now, don't be fooled by how this looks compared to Anno 1800. I know it has an enormous amount of similarities. The graphics are far more refined. This is 1080p that you're witnessing right now. The final version is going to be 4K. 4K. The difference between 1080 and 4K is substantial, and honestly, the graphics were amazing from what I saw. Just in this 1080p. I play on 2K, and I record all of my city builders in 2K because I think it just looks way better, right? So I'm looking forward to being able to actually finally play the game. All right, so we got our porridge makers, we got our oat farms up, and now we're just getting some basic residential areas up. Same pitfalls. Now, what makes Anno 117 different from Anno 1800 for me is that there's a lot more organic building. In Anno 1800, you're trying to min-max everything, and there are kind of optimal designs. Whereas in Anno 117, there are going to be multiple ways to build districts. You can't fit every single house around certain buildings, and a lot of the production buildings, like the ones that you use to make sandals or wine, they have a radius effect upon all of the houses in the area. So you're going to be building specialty districts, like ones that are kind of more optimized for science, and maybe your whole city being optimized for religion. When I get to building out the first religious buildings, you will see that it gets certain points per house around it. And the more points you can get for your religion and who you pick, the greater the bonuses you get from that god that increase your production. For instance, Mars, he increases the production of war goods, and I believe it was Ceres, she increases like porridge and grain production. And so that's a huge difference between this game and Anno 1800, is that you can get huge bonuses from the gods towards the production. So this leads me to realize that the replayability of Anno 117 is going to be really vast. There are, like, if you want to become just a massive trade hub, you can build your religion, and you can build everything around massive trade. You can go further into war, and there are land battles. There are land armies, and there are sea battles in this game. And what you're seeing here isn't even the full scope of the game. We only got to play the islands, but what they told us, and what I'm allowed to say, is that you can go to where the Germanic tribes are, and it's a giant flat land, and you're going to be attacked. So there are wall pieces in this game, there are towers, there are land armies. So it's going to go beyond the the island building of that we've been accustomed to in all these games, and it's actually going to go to full-on city castle building. So you're going to be defending inland cities versus barbarians, and that's something that's really, really new, at least for me. And so with modern graphics and all these different types of things to keep you entertained, I think that Anno 117 is going to be amazing. Now, I know some people, I've been reading in the Reddit forums, because I do believe that this game is being made for console next to it. So yeah, a lot of us are concerned about future DLC and stuff, and if, you know, the modern... I mean, I know consoles are getting pretty complicated, and they're getting pretty awesome. But, you know, computers can handle a lot more assets. All right, you know, we have higher... You need a lot of VRAM in order to load all of the assets and have much bigger builds. So a computer's still going to be king, you know. But I'm hoping that the consoles... The fact that they're trying to make it parallel right now doesn't hold back future development. But, okay. So we're getting a tavern up and we're getting a market up. You know, you got to get your people sloshed. But you can see that... let's get this up. You can see I'm getting a happiness bonus and everything, and an extra person bonus in these houses. So it's pretty cool.
Proprietor of its many establishments.
But yeah, so I was about 2.5 hours in when I did this run. So I had a little bit of a better understanding of what I was doing. One of the main things I like about this game is simply just how easy it is to modify a design. Like, you can move buildings just by holding down on them. It's really cool. So yeah, we're just getting out some districts. And just kind of like in Anno 1800, you want to be careful not to expand too big before you get into like the second and third classes. It's a lot easier to get to the third tier of citizens with a smaller settlement. So you'll recognize that I don't go big in the very beginning, because that's what I was going for. I was trying to get as much of the content as possible out of my run. But yeah, feel free to ask questions too, guys. This is live. If you have any questions about the game, or you want any impressions or anything I've left out. But yeah, we're just doing a basic thing. And I wish I could play it again with everything I know, and I wish I could have played at a more moderate pace and my own pacing, because I think I could have designed something that looked, you know, a little bit more unique. You can do angled roads, and you can build sideways. I think if you guys, of course you guys have, if anyone's watching this, you've watched Navarius's build. I really like the way that he did those sideways districts off of his main district. It looks so cool. I was like, dude, I wish I did that. That was really neat. Okay, so now what we're doing is we're getting out a spinner. You can see it increases income. You can see it also shows you the total of affected buildings. Now, certain buildings aren't always positive. They can give you wealth, but they could also give you vast negatives to like happiness, because they stink. They smell, you know? You gotta be careful. So I'm moving things around. Just as you can see, it's really easy to move things around. You don't have to destroy it. You just hold down and move it with the left mouse button. And so we're moving things around so that we can position these buildings to get the highest impact. And this is crucial. In my first run, I didn't realize that these buildings were paramount to getting money. I went bankrupt because I just had a terrible understanding and terrible organization of everything. So, you know, there is a point of min-max, but as you progress, the buildings get larger and larger. And so you're going to find that there is this really, like, in my opinion, fun flow of designing things, because it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be well thought out and optimized. And what that means is, like, completely up to you. You're not really punished for making too crazy mistakes, but you're also rewarded for thinking and designing things in a practical way. So every time you play, you're going to think of a better way to organize things. Now, I know I'm probably going to come out with perfect city guides, and I'm probably going to come out with templates. They said late 2025, but, you know, delays do happen. So you really never know what's going to... you never know what's going to happen, right? I hope this game comes out late 2025. I plan on doing quite a bit. So, okay, we got the sheep going now. We're going to make these hats. So, I will say I feel a little bad for my people. All right, we're upgrading. All right, we're getting to the second like, yeah, it's like, come to TactiCat's village. I will give you a a a rag hat and and clothing and feed you porridge and you can eat fish. It sounds like a terrible, terrible. It actually sounds like one of those fad diets that people propose on YouTube. My porridge fish challenge. All right. So yes, here is the ship, and I didn't do a precisely good job of exploring. So one of the early game ways to make money I identified, you can look at the request. So they wanted marble, they wanted wood, and they wanted clay. Now, you can sell anything to these ports if you manually do it, but you can only automatically trade things that it's requesting. So what I decided to do at a later point coming up soon is go to another island and just have it mass produce lumber and then start selling that and then use that lumber to buy the luxury goods needed for the third class of citizens, which I do much later in this gameplay, probably half an hour from this point. But yeah, we're about 11 minutes in and there's still an hour and 10 minutes to go. But yeah, it's such a fun game, and I zoom in a bunch at the end of this video, so if you want to know what it looks like from the ground down at the end of this live stream, we'll go over that. I spent a solid 10 minutes just going around looking at everything and how it works. All right, so yeah, we're just trying to grow right now. We're making beautiful hats for everybody.
Don't have much to offer.
I don't think I would be caught dead in that hat. I don't think I would be caught dead wearing any of that stuff. And the lumber can quickly kind of set you up to be a little bit of a bottleneck. So you can see I'm getting another sawmill. Still kind of learning the ratios. I know if you click on the buildings, it will actually tell you that, and you can sit there and calculate it. Again, because I only had an hour to play, like I just did not have time to do even basic rudimentary math. I was like in the zone just trying to get to the third tier of people. Yeah, but it's pretty cool. So that main building you see right there in between everything, you can add extensions which allow you to put in specialists, which increase, you know, the productivity of certain goods around it. You can also wall it in. So if you are attacked, like they come in and they do a land invasion, they're going to go straight for that building. So you don't want to place it that close to the shoreline. And you want to make sure it's incredibly well defended. Again, that is, in my opinion, like I said, what makes Anno 117 very, very different from Anno 1800. People have said it's a reskin. It really is not. There is an immense amount of new gameplay mechanics. That being one of them is that you actually have to be able to fight off land invasions. And so I didn't really focus on that because the demo didn't have anyone to attack me, so I didn't feel the need to build that area up in any kind of defensive way. But when the game does come out, yeah. And I'm hoping I'll probably get another opportunity to play this game before it officially comes out. I am part of the Ubisoft Creator Program, so I do get access to games before they come out. So I will definitely be covering this game a lot. I think hopefully one day it will be a hallmark of my channel. It's a little hard to break into. I've thought about doing some more Anno. I have already done an entire Anno 1800 Mega series on how to beat the game fully with soap, and I conquer every single island in the game with my soap strategy. So there's a lot. There is a lot I like about Anno, but it's a little different. Certain city builders kind of hit that vibe a bit different. But here we go. We're I'm kind of realizing that this is a good place to cap it because of the radius of certain buildings. But yeah, so we've upgraded. We have the tier 2 citizens now, and we're getting a little bit more of them. They do pull in a little bit more taxes, but you do need to balance your workers. You can see I have 94 and 32. Yeah. And the ships in this game are really cool. Unfortunately, in this gameplay, I don't go into ship making, but I can tell you that you can customize your ships. You can add additional military units to it. You can add rowers to it to make it faster. So that's a new thing too, that you can fully customize and create ships to what you think you're going to need. Really, really cool. All right, so now we're trying to get clay and roof tiles up. So you have these riverbeds where you can get clay, or you can make flour. So you can either do a clay thing or make flour. So I try to keep that stuff all together. Yeah. There we go. We got ourselves a warehouse. And like I said, being able to move buildings is amazing. If you're just like out of reach of a warehouse, you can move everything back one tile and then, you know, zig a road through everything. It's pretty cool. Right. And then the police in this game I think are the Praetorians. So back in Roman times, when shit got real, they would send the Praetorian guards out to just start straight up stabbing people. There are some pretty well documented things during the times of the Colosseum where like the whole town or the whole city of Rome would riot and they would send these guys out and murder. I'm actually T is asking if I shake my citizens in this game to death like in Foundation. I'm actually a good ruler in this. I'm trying to find the right word. Yeah, no, I'm cool. I'm cool in this game. I don't mistreat anybody. I just publicly shame them for wearing the hats that I make for them. That's like the best thing you can do. So we're getting up the lumber. So I'm turning this second island that we've just taken over into just a massive lumber industry, and we're just going to ship that out to the point north. Now in Anno 1800, I love to sell soap. Unfortunately, the more complicated things are going to require a little bit more of a setup. It's a little bit harder to actually cheese the game here. I know some people were making and selling ships, and you can sell a ship for like 25 grand. So that was a way that some people had found to quote unquote cheese the game to find like a really lucrative early game economy. But I prefer things that are a little bit more tradey and passive. But you know what? I'll have to try it out. So yeah, you don't need much here. You just need enough to get everything going. So this is where my 20-minute video picked up, but I cut out a lot of this gameplay because I wanted to give people an idea of the full scope in a shorter period of time. But you know what? We're golden now. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I need to add more people, and I have this ugly little thing above us, so it works out. And I wish I would have zoomed in just a little bit more here. Like I said, I zoom in more towards the end, but there we go. So we got a fire station up. And yeah, the cohorts, this is our police. So you can see it gives +2 happiness to everyone around them. And also, if they get out of hand, they slap them around. Beautiful thing. So to answer your question, T, I don't shake the citizens. The cohorts shake the citizens for me. Maybe that's why I like this game. I don't have to do my own dirty work anymore. Yeah. It's a little messed up. Alright. So yes, there's research and religion. We'll get into that more later. So we're going to set up a new trade route. And we're going to trade between our lumber area and that little port that we saw that was requesting wood. Beautiful. Alright. Majestic. Everything I desire. So that's a pretty easy way to make money early game. You can make quite a bit of money selling just wood. And yeah, you gotta be careful. So warehouse, what are we doing? Ah, or residence. Yeah, you'll see me move things around quite a bit later in the game. Again, it's... Don't be afraid to build things incorrectly because it is very, very easy to just move things and correct things and do what you want. I will say, knowing what I know now, I definitely should have put a one-tile gap in between a main road to move the aqueducts across areas. So... road planning, just like in Anno 1800, you know, for your railroads, you can almost like you can almost just replace railroads with aqueducts in this game and take some of those same concepts that you have in Anno 1800. It's pretty sweet. Oh yeah, my beautiful city. I really can't wait to play and record this in 2K because I think it's going to be pretty darn crazy. So these are the end pieces I was talking about. So each one of these, you can see there's a lot of them. And there's one that actually goes, you can see this little archway. You can actually have it going across a road piece, which is what I end up doing. So I end up moving this house. Let me see, yeah. There we go. So hold down left, move the house, and I eventually get rid of this. So yeah. A little bit of confusion here. Apologies for that, but yeah. So we're gonna get that little archway thing we saw, but we need something connected to it in order to have it. So I actually have to move everything around to accommodate that. So I figured that out in about 5 seconds. There we go. I finally figured it out. So we move it over one. If I move this thing over one tile, one or two tiles, no, 2 tiles. Yes, like that. Very good. Then we can put the beautiful archway. There we go. So you can actually have this thing spread out for a long way and have road system. So your governor villa is going to be a pretty sweet thing. It's going to be great. That's another cool little concept that was added to Anno 117. Some of this game, though, is, you know, it's a patient game. I imagine when the land battles start, though, it's going to be crazy hectic. Soft Exodus. It's supposed to be releasing late 2025. And I really can't wait. I think it's a game that I could play for freaking months. It has a lot of the things that I've personally wanted in games like Farthest Frontier. I think it's gonna, like, the fact that there are gonna be land defensible points and sieges and you can wall in your city, like, I think it's gonna put games like Farthest Frontier kind of to shame. You know, Farthest Frontier is a survival city builder, but they've taken a lot of the survival elements out. So I think that people should not sleep on Anno 117. I really do think it's going to be a ridiculously fun game. I know some people don't like the whole, like, 1800 theme, or they don't like the futuristic themes, but a lot of people like Roman history, and myself included, so I think it's going to do really well. And I think, as you'll see when at the end of all of this, when I zoom in on the map and I show you the details of, like, they did an insane job on the details of this game. You can see the people walking around and moving. Very fluid, you know, it's very alive. But when you zoom in, the details are even crazier. The things that people wear, like the hats, the outfits, they're like these crazy fat rich dudes walking around. Like, it's really cool. All right, so we're getting this market up so you can see it increases the population per building and also gives us some wealth. Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just designing the worst looking city ever. I just want them to make me wood. There we go. Yeah, I mean, the more people you have, right, the more tax you generate. So sometimes you just start flipping people out. But we need to get these gents some porridge. And a tavern, of course. They need the hooch. There we go. Yeah, so we got ourselves a market. And we got ourselves a nice little tavern. There we go. Yeah, all of this is unedited except for that one part because I had an issue. That's the only part that I had to cut out. But this should be uninterrupted from that point.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, our trade routes. We decided at this point we're going to trade more wood. I remember this vividly. I was like, I need more money. More wood, please. It's kind of crazy how much I remember because this is like legitimately from 3 weeks ago. I can't remember what I had for dinner yesterday, but I can remember that I wanted more money and more wood when I played this. All coming back to me. All right. Yeah, so we need a water mill now to take that grain to flour. Yes, the end game for Anno 117, I feel, is going to be, and the raids from the barbarians. I think they're going to get crazier and crazier as your city grows. Like, who knows, man? And that's the cool component to this game, is that because now there are land battles, it opens up this whole thing of, like, what is it going to be, right? Like, all right, so here's a bakery, so we can see that it increases income, but also decreases fire safety by -2. So things are a lot more likely to catch on fire around the bakery. I don't know why, to be honest. If the bakery is proper, you know, like, things shouldn't be catching on fire. Unless the baker is just, like, out there lobbing loaves of bread that are on fire. He's just fucking had it. I don't know. Maybe that was a common delirium back then, where the bakers would just go ham with the flaming loaves. But yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, to be honest. As long as you're using clay to bake that bread, I don't see the fire risk, but whatever. I don't know, man. But yeah, you just gotta be a little careful about those bonuses. Yeah, flour is flammable, but if you store it properly, it's not gonna... The thing is that building decreases the fire safety of every building in that radius, which was like 200-300 feet. or 100 meters for my European friends. Now, it's a good point. Yeah, flour is flammable, but I still feel like it's a bit of a stretch. All right, so the sanctuary, this is the religious building. You can see it increases happiness by 1 and belief points by 2. Now, belief points are how you get greater and greater benefits. In the Grammaticus, you can see it increases knowledge by +3 for every building in its radius. And that's how you get knowledge points to get new technologies. That's right, Anno 117 has one of the most insanely big tech trees I've ever seen, and we'll show you that here momentarily. All right, so now we get to select our patron. So there's Mars series. There's also, I think it's, I don't know if it's Zeus. I can't remember. Definitely not Aquaman. But it's it's a sea. There's a sea god, and I think it might be, I don't remember who it is. Yeah, the silo could be a potential bomb. That's true. That's a good point. I still like to envision that one of the citizens have gone crazy and they're out there just causing fires. So those are but anyway, my jokes aside, those are the interesting dynamics of this game, is that you're going to have all these buildings you're unlocking that have these massive upsides and potential massive downsides. So here's the tech tree. So military, civic, economic, it's pretty crazy. And to get to the other tiers, you have to fulfill certain building requirements and resource requirements. It's a little difficult. That's the night watch. Watchtowers. So you can put up watchtowers around your city, which gives them happiness. It's crazy. Yeah, quartermaster, cargo slots increased by 1. So we need 2 cities with a single patron and 500 knowledge to get to the devotion research bracket. I didn't want to show too much of this, so I only focused on a little bit. But yeah, it's nuts. And then the whole military, so you can recruit different types of units. There's axemen and slingers and armor smithing to get, you know, better armor. So there's, yeah, that's pretty sweet. That's slingers. So old school Rome Total War, but in a city builder. There we go. Torching speed 50%. Repair cranes. Expected release date is sometime at the end of 2025. But I read something that everything got pushed I read something about Ubisoft was pushing everything to the beginning of January 1st. But they told me it was coming out at the end of 2025. I have a feeling it's going to be, honestly, 2026. Just based off everything that I know. Yeah, fuel efficiency. So you can get a lot of different knowledges. So knowledge is going to be really, really important to ramping up your production. So see how big the tech tree is? Massive. And some of those things unlock as you saw, new buildings. But yeah, I will say we'll probably be playing Anno 117 within 12 months. The trees, yeah. There's a lot. I mean, the game is beautiful. Wait till I get up the freaking lavender fields, man. Lavender fields, and wait till you guys see the pig slop mechanics. The pig slop mechanics. Oh, they're right there. Yeah. Pig slop mechanics are next level, man. No, those are the sheep. Okay, yeah. So sorry, you're gonna have to watch me try. You're gonna watch me try to decorate. Yeah, look at the trees you can place down. The decoration in this game is pretty awesome. So you can build out parks and you can build out areas for people to do things in. This doesn't have any like benefit to you as far as like making more stuff. So, yeah. But it looks cool, and that's the important thing. Bravery, are you sending me cream? You better be sending me cream. Okay, that's not cream, Bravery. All right. Yeah, so you can set things up, but there's a lot of different options, and the game is going to evolve, right? There's going to be more and more decorations, more and more things.
I must congratulate you, Ere. Your first research success, and surely not the last.
All right, I got one thing of research. But now that you can do sideways roads, it means that you can do these like sideways gardens on the outskirts of your city landscape. I mean, you can do whatever you want. That's the cool thing about Anno 117 is you don't have to sit here and go crazy and dial things in. I like that you can, and I also think there's going to be room for like an optimal build that looks good. I think that Anno 117 is definitely leaning more towards organic efficiency rather than just like pure efficiency, especially because, you know, Anno 1800 was, you know, industrial, right? You go into industrial ages, so that's all about just the most ugly efficiency possible. And yeah, we haven't even gotten to the aqueducts yet, and that's going to be crazy. So you do need to prepare for that, and you do need to think about that. But what's kind of cool is a lot of the houses are about the size of many buildings in the game.
Fleet of ships for goods transportation and
All right.
control of the
So
sea.
this is the point where they talk about us building fleet of ships. I decided not to do that because the buildings related to it are very expensive, and I was trying to get to the third tier citizen. Here we go.
You can hear all they
Yeah,
teach
and then
you
I
from
royally
the
screwed up because I
magic
paused.
streets
I was
of
trying to
Rome.
figure out how to pause and start certain goods, so kind of ignore that. I figure it out later. But yeah, here are the lavender farms, man, and they are rad. If I can ever figure out what I'm doing. Alright, yeah, so we need the piggies now. So I decided to use... I put a warehouse over here already, and the piggies have a negative impact on everyone around them. There we go. Alright, yeah, and then you need a tannery. So you can see the tannery gives -2, and then that's where I messed up. The sandals, they give +1 wealth. So the sandal maker, you need to move over there. So you want to be really careful when you're looking at these buildings to see if they do positive or negatives. Because some of the stuff, yeah, see the sandal, it gives a +1 wealth. I eventually moved that over into the area. And, you know, that's why you go bankrupt in Anno 117, is because you don't realize that it's a little bit different from the other games. But yeah, once you get the leather, and you just need the pigs and the salt, and you got yourself the sandals. Them Romans love them sandals. But yeah, you can pause and unpause certain things. I accidentally paused sandals, it looks like, too. Yay, I totally screwed up. Oh, we'll see. Alright, yeah, here's the lavender farm. So you see the lavender farm? It actually adds +1 happiness to all houses around it. So you, this is kind of what I was getting at, is that you could incorporate lavender farms into like a second city. Maybe not your main city, but if you have like a little villa, like a little lavender villa, you could have lavender farms going down the sides of your city, and you'll get a happiness bonus from that. And that's good, because when people aren't happy, they burn things down. And so the charcoal kilns, you can see -3 health and -3 fire safety. Those things create massive fire hazards all around you. Yeah, I'm sure in the pig farms you can see are -2 health, probably from all the, you know, the disgusting feces. So yeah, don't put homes around your pig pens. All right, so this is what I like about the game. As I said, you can move things around. We eventually realized that I need to move this entire pig pen back so that I can get a road going up to the warehouse. I don't know why I was struggling so much here. I think it was just all the excitement, to be honest. I was just like, what do I do? I was like looking at my timer. I'm like, I got freaking 40 minutes left. All right. Yeah, this is when it dawns on me that I need to move things. I was trying to make a nice little road from the back area, so it does kind of work, but it's the auto road fill in this is a little bad. I don't entirely like it too much. Okay, so yeah, sometimes you get it and sometimes you don't. It's a little tricky to get a whole building with extensions, but you just have to keep going until you get it. Sometimes you accidentally pick up one of the extensions. There we go. I got it. But boom. So yep, see, you move it back. You can move the whole thing back and then slap in a road. There you go. You got warehouse access. And then yeah, at this point I was like, I need to make this place pretty. I need my pigs to feel immaculate. They're you know, a big part of everything. I don't know why I did this, but you can see how it's sideways. That's part of the sideways tiling. So you can really fill in. You can do a lot of really cool things with the sideways road system and sideways decoration system in this game. It's definitely a lot different than any of the other Annos I've played. There we go. We have a beautiful pigtopia over here. No, I don't know what I was thinking.
I brand the bread I sell as a mark of make and quality.
All right. Yeah, so they knew that garum. I think that's like, I actually don't know what garum is. Let me look that up right now, because that's been bugging me. No, not grain, garum. I hate autocorrect so much. It is a fish sauce used extensively in ancient Roman cuisine, made by fermenting small fish, anchovies, mackerels, and sardines with salt, letting it sit in the sun for weeks or months, and then straining off the liquid. This salty, umami-rich sauce was used much like soy sauce or fish sauce in modern cooking to add savory, tangy kick to food. Ah, so that's interesting. That's interesting. So it's basically a sauce.
The waters here hold great comfort
A
for those with
fermented
busy
fish
lives.
sauce. Ancient Rome. I don't know. Yeah, you never. I mean, you never really know, huh? I wonder what that would taste like. It does sound kind of good. And if my neighbors complain about the rancid stank of mackerels, I'll just tell them that they don't appreciate history and they're uncultured. All right. So yeah, we're what was I doing at this? Yeah, I'm getting the mackerel trade up now. So I'm bringing in the fishies back so that we can make that sweet, sweet sauce. Can't remember. Oh yeah, at this point I was trying to figure out trade. I was trying to see what I could sell. I was trying to make some money. And yeah, we're bringing clay tiles over here because we need clay tiles to build at the mackerels. Plural, you think it would taste like the Vietnamese fish sauce that you get in restaurants? Yeah. Yeah, well, if I ever become big on Anno 117, which I find kind of slim, there are a lot of really good content creators for this game, I will make TactiCat garum sauce. I'll start selling it. I just need macro. All I have to do is leave it out in the sun, right? I'm sure that's not a health hazard. Oh boy. All right, there we go. Getting the fish up. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably kill it, like everybody with that. That sounds a little complicated. Letting it sit in the sun for weeks or months. Oh my god. Maybe I don't want to taste that. That sounds so nasty now. The or months part. You want to? Hey, Braver, you want to try my fish sauce? The bowl of mackerels I left in the sun for a month. I mashed it up real good though.
Hear the voices of the humbly bumbly.
Oh my god. Oh yeah. Yeah, I won't attempt that. Yeah, so I got about 2 of these bad boys up. And we start making that sauce, that sweet, sweet sauce here pretty soon. I wish, yeah, you can see look at the crane and just look at the, oh man, that's the first time I think I've zoomed in on this one. But there's just so much detail in this game. It's amazing. All right. Yeah, the plebeian residences are strong. Hard to find. Oh yeah, so here's the garum work. So you can see it increases income by 1, happiness -2, and that's probably from the rank fish smell that we were talking about. I'm pretty sure my HOA would not appreciate me opening up a garum factory in my backyard. Not bad, not bad. At this point, I just wanted money. So that's what I'm saying is that you can create these highly specialized district areas like that. It's like, do you want them to be happy or do you want to be rich? So you can make that distinction in your gameplay. Or you can, for instance, they were pretty pissed off about the fish stank. So what if I put a lavender field there and then it just smells like dead fish, but you have that lavender hint. It kind of almost balances out.
Some of the necessary
It's
materials
I mean,
haven't
you
reached
probably
us.
pay $1,000 in France for something like that, right? There we go. Come on, please figure it out, me. Okay. I don't know if I ever figured out some of the mistakes that I made in this, but I know them now. Yeah, I'm hoping I get another opportunity to play for sure. But yes, look how easy it is to relocate your main building. So if you ever want to take it out of your city and put it somewhere else, like if you want the highest of the elite people to be around your main city, or you want to move it, and that's another thing too, like I said, because that main structure, when you build the attachments, you can have one specialist per attachment that you build. So it's gonna be tricky, man. It is gonna be tricky. But it leads to a lot of specialty gameplay. All right, yeah, here we go. I think this is when it clicks. Yeah, the pigsties, very good. All right, we're gonna make a soap maker. Unfortunately, there's no one to buy my soap here. Soap is pretty freaking easy to make. It's just lavender and that mashed up stuff from the piggies and charcoal. But no one here, there's no equivalent person purchasing soap in this iteration. If they ever bring that back the soap purchasing, I'm gonna go back to my soap empire. It's just gonna be fields of pigs. All right, so you can see we get -1 happiness, but we get +1 health, which is really interesting. People don't want to be clean, I guess. But you can see if things are getting hit based on those icons. So there's a lot of really good UI features in Anno 117 that I appreciated. It's really easy to kind of see how things are interacting with one another.
Garum makes for a broth a dumpling hopes
Garum,
to die for.
that's how she said that.
Some people make a lot of money selling bread.
Oh, it sounds like she said she made like a weird soup out of it. Yeah, see, I accidentally paused it. There we go. This is where I figure it out. That I was messing up. There we go. Yep. Oh, thank God. I knew I'd figure it out eventually, me. Okay, cool. Yeah, so don't pause those things. That's the same way it works in Anno 1800, but I hadn't played Anno 1800 like a year at this point. Okay, so now we're upgrading a few more houses. So we need clay, and we need, it looks like, olive oil. And the only way to get those things is to take another island with them. However, it would have taken me far too long to get that set up. So what I decided to do was to just purchase it. So we have our massive lumber industry. We have a lot of buildings, you know, giving more wealth to the town. Yeah, so we could do the resin. There-ish, yeah. At this point, I was just trying to figure out what the play was. And I was trying to find... So it shows you all... In the bottom left-hand corner, it shows you everything that island has. And so you can go around looking to see if it has what you need to get those objects. But that oysters, I believe you can sell too. So you could take that island and just go straight into oyster mast harvesting and sell that. There's another port. I only found 2 ports that you could sell things to in this map, which is a little bit different from Anno 1800. I think you had 3 in Anno. So you have a limited amount of items that people are purchasing in this sector of the world. You may be able to sell soap, like, you may be able to go to the next sector and they might be buying something that you can mass produce pretty easy here and make a fortune. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But you can also straight up just sell items in your dock to any of the other players that want to purchase them. So at this point, I'm just trying to make as much money as possible. Selling the piggies. I'm just selling everything. We're in a good equilibrium here. We're producing more than we need. We're keeping our population kind of low. We still got 46 more minutes.
The sanctuary is where I feel safest, where I can contemplate.
I don't know why she's talking to me like that. It's kind of weirding me out. Yeah. But it's kind of cool. There's a lot of stats that you can look at. So once we get that third tier of goods, that's when things really pick up. I don't know why I keep pausing stuff. There we go. And then, yeah, there was a riot. So there are riots, and you can see. So we come in with cages, and we start beating people up. Pretty sweet. There are quests just like in the other Anno games. If you click on those individuals, they'll ask you to find, you know, their lost pet or their lost child or something. I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of doing those quests. Okay, so yeah, this is where I found out that the sandal maker needs to be moved over. So I was missing out on a lot of money. I didn't realize the sandal maker gave so much. I move it again. That's a terrible spot for it, but yeah, you can see the money really starting to flow in now.
Look smarter. It's the governor.
The governor? That was a kind of Britishy voice.
I have a few new proposals to take to the Magister someday.
All right, yeah, that's a good spot for it right there. So boom, it was a much better increase from that. So yeah, you start to see that, you know, there are going to be optimal ways to do things, but as I get into the third tier and you see how gigantic some of the higher tier buildings are, you'll start to realize that you're going to need to have a few different districts.
I always make enough to make it to next market day.
Yeah, there I go. I was just playing around with things, like I said, pausing and starting things just to see how it all kind of interacted. Yeah, here's my first fire. I don't know what they do with the water. They kind of like throw it on. It kind of feels like the water is coming from the house too. Someone had noticed that some of the animations were backwards, like the windmill was going backwards, and as you saw with the water, it was coming out of the house instead of going into the house. So yeah, I think that there might be a couple of things they're working on here, but no biggie. I mean, this is an very early access, you know, view of everything. So don't be freaked out. All right, yeah, so now we're just gonna buy the clay pottery from other people, and we're gonna buy the olive oil from other people. So that's what's kind of cool about having other ways of making money, is if you are running low on something, or if you need something that you can't get, you can always just trade for it. Pretty easy. Perfect. Bravery, you're saying there's a reverse animation of a villager planting corn. It looked like he was putting it inside himself. Yeah. Yeah, there's a few reverse. That's what I think going on. Is there's a few. It's really weird. There are a few reverse animations. But yeah, the tech tree is so insane. But yeah, you can see all charcoal kilns can use... Oh, that's replanting. That allows you to replant. Fuel efficiency 10%. So yeah, the tech tree is really going to be pretty critical. I could foresee gameplays lasting quite a time. You think they should leave that in? The reverse animation? Yeah. Yeah, I see the shipyard, it costs 25. It has a maintenance of 25. It's so expensive. I mean, ships are critical. In the normal gameplay, I would have for sure make the ship maker. You have to make a ship maker. But in this, I was just trying to find a solution to getting to tier 3. So, pulling everything in. All right, look at that. Upgrade a warehouse. So we did unlock through the tech tree warehouse upgrades. The music is pretty dope too. Yeah, we got full charcoal output now. And it does have day and nighttime cycles, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I selected it ever, though. Too many cooks. Here we go. Those warehouses, though, man, they cost so much. In the long run, they're one of the biggest expenses. All right. Yeah, once we get the pottery, we're good.
Caught fire now.
But, yeah, the Emperor you have to pay money to. So you're not cool. You get bullied by the Emperor all the time. I'm actually curious to see if I don't pay him if he'll attack me, because that would be dope. It'd be so cool to get attacked by the Emperor. Especially if you can beat him. Alright, yeah, upgrade the trading post. I love the UI in this game, though, a lot. The animations and graphics are really fun. But you gotta be careful, because this stuff is a little expensive. It's 25 a pop for each one of those. There we go. So we just hit the tier 3, and the tier 3 houses are so cool looking. You can see we're right next to the religious building right now, so there's a couple religious nuts wandering around yelling at people. You get wine and cheese, and look at so as you progress, you get more and more bonuses on all of your houses. And it's pretty crazy. So wine increases belief points. So wine and religion are a massively good combination if you're trying to get a ton of religious points. Get everyone drunk. A mistake I made that you'll see is the bees require a meadow that's open. I thought if I put them near plants that they would get an increase. So that took me a little bit of time to figure out. Unfortunately, yeah, the apiary. So you want your apiary, see how it says 66%. I should have been paying better attention. But you'll want to get that up to 100. And the vintners, you see income +1 and a prestige. So you get, well, that's weird. It said belief points before. So yeah, you get prestige. I'm not sure where cheese is. Cheese, yeah, Albion. So the region you're talking about there, Marzil, you're saying cheese seems locked to Albion. Albion is the dramatic place that I'm talking about. And yeah, it's possible that cheese and all those farm animals may be locked to another region. The crazy thing is that there's so much more content than we even got to see. I mean, we just got to see the first, realistically, like 3 hours of gameplay. Yeah, there's porridge kitchens. Remove the porridge kitchens. I do a lot of weird stuff in here, so I do apologize. I was playing around with a lot of stuff, trying to figure it all out. Perfect. Yeah. But yeah, the apiary has to be completely in an open field. And concrete is necessary to build a lot of these advanced things. Concrete's actually really easy to make. The main island already has the limestone deposits that you need, and then the rest of it's just sand. You think it's Celtic? Oh yeah, I think you're right. So you're right, it's not German. You're going to Britain. My bad. That makes sense. Yeah, because Celtic's the other thing you get. That adds up, because you can choose between Roman and Celtic traditions, so it would make sense that, yeah, you might be going to Britain.
You will not shame me in front of our guest.
Well, yeah, there's a good amount of content here. I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised when they play this game how enjoyable it actually is.
Eyes, you shine like a beacon, an example to all other governors.
It is, Mars. I know there's a lot of you're saying the game looks really good. It is. It really is. I was pretty skeptical. You know, like, I was wondering, is this going to be a reskin of Anno 1800? And in the first 30 minutes of gameplay, I was like, okay, this seems a lot like Anno 1800. But then as I started discovering all the new mechanics they put into the game, because I have played Anno 1800. I have like around 100 hours on Anno 1800. Not like an expert, but, you know, I've played the game quite a bit. It's very different from Anno 1800. And I mean, with sideways building and all the things that they've added, it adds a whole new depth, I think, to the gameplay. Quite a lot of depth. What's up with Deckard Cain in the top left? I don't know, man. He's doing his thing. You leave him alone. I think what's going to be crazy are the land battles, honestly, or what I think are going to be nuts. I also want to see what they do with the DLC. Like, are they going to open up Egypt? You know what I mean? And like, you can bring, like, maybe Egypt has like a 200% wheat production. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with all this.
There's a better spot for it.
All right, so now we have the aqueduct out. Okay, I'm going to apologize. I'm pretty sure it takes me a solid 13 hours to figure out where to put this. You can only put the aqueduct source on a mountain source, and it's really easy to spot. I was like, is it in the water? Like, no. I might have to skip some of this. Okay, hold on. Sorry. It's painful. Okay, there it is. Sorry. It's painful to watch me look for. It's like watching a 500-pound man try to give a woman an orgasm. You guys don't want to watch it. All right. I figured it out in 5 seconds here. There we go. So you see that little mountain slot there? That's where it goes. I'm like, in the mountain? I'm just like so stupid. I'm so sorry. It's like, is it in the mountain? Like, there we go. I'm like yelling at myself, watching myself. It's that little mountain slot. Oh my god. Yeah, see, then I realized the requirement is mountain slot, and then I put 2 and 2 together. Yeah, there we go. I did it. Yeah, I think runes can be dismantled. I also think you can build them up. All right, there you go. So it's being built out. It takes a little bit of time. You need quite a bit of concrete. Look at the theater. See how big the theater is? +3 happiness, +1 knowledge. So it's going to be a little difficult to centralize everything. Yeah, and I built a couple of these bad boys. I eventually destroy. Yeah, so he wants money. I gave him 6 grand. I didn't want to give him 20. That's the emperor who wanted money from me. All right, so I got rid of that gent. And then this is where I think I figured out that the apiary needs to be moved. You can see the cultivation area is really small. So yeah, you need a wide area around it. Kind of annoying. But it needs to be completely clear. You need clear meadows for the apiaries to work correctly. And so that's when I started moving the plants around it, and you can see that it was going down. Oh, okay. So this was the end of the demo. I still have 30 minutes of gameplay, so ask your questions. Let's go to the point. where right now I'm just like getting screenshots of things. All right. We're going to just zoom across a little bit. I'm modifying some things around. I think what people really want to see, though, isn't this. We're going to just skip a little bit. Here we go. This is the ground shots. This is what I think a lot of people want to see, is what the game actually looks like when you look at the graphics of it. I don't know why I'm signaling myself with certain things, but... yeah, I was just doing a quick once-over, crying about my village. Oh, come on. Stop teasing me. I'm teasing myself here. Alright. Come on. I know we build up a few of these things. A lot of this is a little tedious, though, to watch. There we go. Alright, the theater is done. Yeah, one last piece of the aqueduct here. It's a little hard to individually grab some of these things, so you have to get pretty darn close. There we go, I got it. Boom. Alright. So we just have the source to build now, and then it's done. Yeah, in the last 10 minutes of this video, should be me looking at the ground and getting really, really close to the building so we can see some cool stuff here really, really soon. Just bear with me. And they have the aqueduct cistern. So you can see that thing adds 3 health and 3 fire prevention. So those are going to be really, really good in industry areas even to prevent fires. Nobody likes fires. But yeah, it was a fun experience. It was a new experience. This is the first time I had gotten early access like this to a game, and I had to take control of a computer at Ubisoft to play. Like, they wouldn't let me download the files or anything. So I didn't get to play it on my rig. Otherwise, it would have been in 2K. Would have been on the best. Yeah, it was definitely a unique experience. My first experience being a quote-unquote gaming YouTuber. But a lot of people were able to make videos, so I guess it's not that special. The soundtrack's real chill. I do appreciate the soundtrack. And then yeah, you can see the water and everything around. It's pretty sweet. But yeah, feel free to ask me any questions that weren't addressed in this video while we wait for the aqueduct to be completed here. It's pretty crazy.
Is it too little demand, perhaps?
Gladiator, yeah, Gladiator 1, not Gladiator 2, right? Reminds you of the soundtrack. I was not a fan of Gladiator 2. Gladiator 1 is one of my favorite movies. I think I've watched it probably 50 times. I used to tell people it was my #1 favorite movie. It might still actually be. I'm a huge, I love the Roman theme. Gladiator 2 just didn't feel right. Is the game easy to pick up? I think so. I think so. I mean, in 4 hours, I learned a lot. And like I said, I feel like this game allows for a lot more organic building than Anno 1800. Like, you can make mistakes, but as long as you understand that buildings influence things like health and wealth, then it's pretty easy to understand what you're doing. And because you can move things, you can make a lot of mistakes and correct them very quickly. So yeah, here is the aqueduct. Look how cool that is. Look at the detail on that thing, though. It's like the details in this game are immense. That's what I kind of wanted to talk about. All right, so now we got the water flowing. And it's going all in. You can see, yeah, they do have, for some reason they have chimneys. That's interesting. But yeah, if you just look at one building, you can see there's so much activity going on. There are like so many animations going on. Yeah, they did such an amazing job on the details, and you'll see. There's gonna be a lot. I was basically aligning for I was trying to get my intro, and I was trying to get as many cool scenic pictures as I could get. So, spent about a solid 5 minutes doing that. And there are stone roads, it looks like, too. So you're going to be able to upgrade your roads and really make the city look just even more immaculate. And that's going to be crazy. There we go. We got it. So that thing fills up with water. So you can see we're using 90 out of the 100 water. So you're going to have to use these things sparingly.
Materialize.
And you can see there is the blueprint tool too. I just used the blueprint tool there. So if you find something that works really good, you can bring it over to another island. You can do whatever you want.
The great outdoors.
So really, really cool. You think there should be a pasta shop? They got porridge, man. They got porridge and wine. What else could you ask for? Yeah, and so like I said, you can see 0 out of 110. So the apiary needs to be completely free of any surroundings. No trees, nothing. Wants a perfect meadow. So you're gonna have to make sure you don't have too much around it.
Can't stuff all that down me foals.
All right, we put a warehouse. I probably should have moved the warehouse a little bit back. That's a pretty bad. Now you can see we have 116 out of 110 available meadow, so you can have a little bit near it, but it's not too much. And there's wells. So wells are cool. Look at that. +1 fire prevention. Wells are something you unlock in the tech tree, and you can put those pretty much anywhere. So yeah, having a 2-tile gap in between a main road system could be pretty beneficial. This is the watchtower, +1 happiness around everything. So yeah, there is something to be said about a 2-tile gap. And look at the watch. Yeah, the well's really cool too.
Men who drink water right little of use.
Yeah, and the apiary was really cool looking. I should have looked at that a little bit longer.
Away, Praetor.
But you can see there's another upgrade. There's a 4th tier of housing, and so that's what's crazy. Every tier just has more and more stuff. Alright, so here we go. Finally, I start looking at stuff. So this is the theater. You can see there's a lot of people inside the theater. And there's actually a play going on inside the theater. This is something I did watch. Pretty neat. And this is the religious building, so they're worshiping Ceres. They have a giant fire in there. Look at the detail on this thing, though, man. And this is the religious. So it's kind of cool. Like they have open classrooms, you know, for natural lighting. Really neat. And then here is, you know, some of the other stuff. The soap maker, big old vat. All right, yeah, that's the fish fermenting place where they leave that stuff out in the sun for months. I didn't get the Battle Coliseum, unfortunately. That's gonna be another tier of citizen. And that's the bakery. This is the cohorts, the police station. This is a market. The market's really cool.
Simple folk.
The spinner.
Don't have much to offer.
The hat maker. I can't even say that. The felter. Yeah, you can see there's a lot. There's like a bunch of random people on the shoreline. They all want me to find their lost relatives, and I don't care. I'm playing the game. There we go. Now I look at the yacht. Yeah, so you can see they're getting water out of there. I mean, the game is ridiculously detailed. Yeah, and it shows you, it will show you each point that it's going to. What's crazy is you can have 10 of those per one source. So, yeah, you could definitely get your water going in a lot of places.
Have you need of us?
Yeah, there's different stances, just like in
Everything
Anno
is
1800.
perfect for the governor's visit.
So this is a look at the nicer area of town. You see, there's these big fat guys in pink shirts. Yeah, it's just really cool to see everybody kind of moving about in the city. Definitely like one of the most alive city builders I have played, where there's so many different things going on that it has that organic feel. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, I'm back on Black and Income. That's what happens when you just spam every building in the game. But you definitely need to figure out a good trade. And those improved warehouses are so costly. But yeah, I really like how you can have these nicer areas of town that aren't full of all the peasants. It adds that Roman flair where you have the you know, the higher tier citizens. That's the vintner over there. Look how cool that is. Everything is just so cool. I think the theater was definitely one of my favorites. And what's crazy was I think this game probably is going to run really, really well. That was a wall I had made earlier. That's the view. And here's the dirty side of town. I did not try first-person mode, and I know that there is first-person mode. I should have. I've seen other content creators do first-person mode. I know it's there. I just didn't think about it. Yeah, that sounds right. Control-Shift-R. I'm hoping I get another whack at... I'm hoping I get time to make a real video on the game, where I get to take my time and learn and edit it and make it nice, fancy. The ships are hecka detailed too. You can see. You can get in there and deep.
Your command.
I was trying to get a really... I was working on getting intro scenes for my main video. I was moving the ships around, but the ship details are also very cool.
The wind is at our back.
Here's the lavender fields. The camera controls, you can see, are a little bumpy, which I did not like. They kind of bounce. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You can see look at those poor gents. And here's my sloppy pigs. Look at that though. There's a dude feeding them. The best pig graphics ever. Yeah, people were commenting about how it was running backwards. It's running the opposite direction. I think this is the most important view of the game, though, is just getting into the details of it. Yes. 10 out of 10. I only play this game for the pigs, man. Yeah, the graffiti could be a sign of law issues, too. So that's a really cool little indicator. Just another cool aesthetic. But yeah, just what an amazing game. I'm not lying. Like, I don't really tout up a whole lot of games. In fact, I shit on a lot of games. So I'm telling you, Anno 117 is going to be a really good game. I'm very much looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a game that I play on my channel quite a bit. But, yeah, this is getting towards the end of things. So, yeah, if you like city builders, it's your first time watching me. I play an enormous amount of city builders. My channel's focused on them. I am playing currently Dune, though, which is completely different from all of this because I love Dune as well. And I like games that are aesthetically pleasing. Anno 117 will be the #1 city builder of 2026. I think, and I hate to say this, I think it will outstrip Manor Lords. I think it will spank Manor Lords in a few ways because if Albion has the the barbarian raids and stuff, it's going to have a level of defensive gameplay that's going to be very, very addictive. Will there be multiplayer? I'm pretty sure, yeah. I'm pretty sure there's going to be multiplayer. I would assume so. All right. And yeah, see, I got 995 pop. And then I decided to get a couple more houses down so I could hit 1,000. So I did hit 1,000 pop in Anno 117. It was a beautiful day for all, especially myself. But yeah, anyway, guys, thank you for watching. This is the end of the video. It's about to cut out. And special thanks to all my patrons, all my YouTube members, and everybody. So if you like city builders, check out my channel. I have a lot of long form movies that are like 5-6 hours, completely fully edited Let's Plays on mini city builders. Have a good rest of your day.